everyone, I'm Shelly from There's No Place Like Home, and today I am accompanied by my 5-year-old daughter. For today's FYI Friday, I'm going to be telling you what we use for our relaxed homeschool curriculum. Since I have 10 kids that I'm actually homeschooling this year, I'm going to break it down into 3 separate videos, and today I'm going to focus on who I call the littles. And they are my 3-year-old, 5-year-old, 7-year-old, and 8-year-old. So that's the curriculum I'm going to be showing you today. Before I even start the video, is that funny? Before I even start the video, I just wanted to tell you that I did say curriculum for my 3-year-old. And if you watched any of my other videos, I am not big on curriculum for 3-year-olds at all. The only reason that I am including her is because she insists on being part of the homeschool. So I'm just going to show you what she does. But I don't actually consider her to be one of my homeschoolers because it's not something that I make her do every day. It's kind of just to keep her occupied, and she doesn't have to do it if she doesn't want to. But with that being said, let's get started. So this is one thing that I use with my 3-year-old. It's Brain Games Kids Preschool Prep. And it's really cute because there's no writing involved in it, so it's good for kids who don't really have fine motor skills yet. And all the kids do is they trace the letter, and it says, like, it just asks questions about things that start with the letter Q, okay? And it's not a lot of writing for kids who aren't writing well yet, but it's something that my daughter really enjoys. And I actually picked this up. It was like $2.99, so I don't spend a lot on my 3-year-old, believe me. Another thing that I use for her is just this preschool activity workbook. And again, I do not make her use this every day. I don't consider her one of my homeschoolers. This is just kind of, she calls this her math book. And it's obviously not just math. You know, there's letters and reading readiness and stuff in it. But I just use this to keep her from getting after the kids while they're trying to do their schoolwork. So this is her, quote, math book. So that's what we use, and she likes it so far. Now, I'm going to tell you that as a relaxed homeschooler, I do not use curriculum for every single subject. I used to way back when we first started homeschooling, and that got really monotonous. So you're going to see that even though I'm showing you the curriculum for 4, if you count my 3-year-old kids today, there's not going to be a whole lot. And I'll explain to you in a little bit how we do that and why. Teach your child to read in 100 easy lessons is phenomenal. I have been homeschooling for 8 years now, and there is no better reading curriculum that you can buy for your children, in my opinion. My 8-year-old, he's 8 now, he was having such a hard time learning how to read. And I remember he was crying 2 summers ago because he didn't know how to read. And we tried so many different things with him for years, and nothing worked. I started this with him in just maybe 2 months' time. He was already reading pretty fluently, and now he reads chapter books. And this has all just been, when did he start reading? He started reading fluently, I'd say maybe around, not fluently, but, you know, simple sentences around September. And he moved on from being able to read simple sentences to chapter books right now. So he's doing great, and I also use this with my 7-year-old. I was using this with her, but she doesn't like it. So we're taking a break from this for her now because she's 5, and I am not one of those people who pushes early reading. I let my kids read when they're ready to. This is hers. This is her phonics book. And what it does, I've actually used this particular curriculum for phonics for about 7 years now. So for most of our homeschooling career, I've used this phonics curriculum. And it actually is really good for teaching kids beginning sounds and ending sounds, but I'm going to tell you right off the bat, let me just show you. My 7 and 8-year-olds also use one from this curriculum too. These say that they're phonics, but at least in our family, they're not really good for teaching phonics. I found, like I said, they're good for beginning consonants and, well, not just consonants, but beginning sounds and ending sounds. But with my kids, at least, it's better more for whole language learning. This has not really helped them learn how to sound words out. That was accomplished with Teach Your Child to Read. So what I really use this for, and I usually alternate this. We might do Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons, say Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then this they'll do Tuesday and Thursday, except for Summer here. She does this one every day. But what I use this for now is it's really good writing practice for the kids. And it's good for showing them whole language words. And it's also really good for spelling because we don't use a spelling curriculum, so they do learn how to spell words in here. If you are going to use Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons, I wouldn't say that you absolutely have to do something like this for them to learn to write, but if you are going to, I suggest that you wait until your child has the fine motor skills that show that they're ready to start writing words and sentences. Because if your child is having some difficulty with that, if you start teaching them reading and do the writing right away, you're going to end up probably having some battles with them because they're going to get a little overwhelmed and probably start to feel like they can't do it. So if your child really needs some time to wait on the fine motor skills, just wait. They don't need to do it right away. For math, for my 5 and 7-year-olds, and this is another one that we have used in our homeschool for about 7 years now. It's Liberty Mathematics, and it's just, these are really nice because they don't give you 50 problems on a page. It's just really simple. There's a few problems, and it's just enough to give your kids some practice in what they're learning. So what I usually do is I start my kids out with the Liberty Mathematics book. And we move on to Life of Fred, usually in 3rd grade, or at least after they've completed level A. Sorry, Summer. After they've completed level A, I usually move them on then to Life of Fred. This year, I'm just like you. I go through moments where I'm like, oh my gosh, am I doing enough? And I had one of those moments before the school year. So I went out and got Spectrum math books for my kids who are doing Life of Fred, and I was going to kind of alternate Life of Fred with these because I thought, oh, they're not getting enough practice in Life of Fred. I need to get a regular math workbook. So we did this for a few months, and it's horrible. It is horrible. There are so many math problems on a page. Even if you do every other one, my kids would just sit there and cry because of how much they hated math. And that's when I started hearing that I hate math more than anything, was with these Spectrum math works. So I'm telling you, don't do it. So this is the Life of Fred book that my 3rd grader now is doing. He's in Life of Fred Cats. And if you notice with Life of Fred, it's a literature-based math program. It's based on a story about a little 5-year-old math professor named Fred. And it's great for kids who are just learning math, but they do need to know their basic addition and subtraction to start it, which is why I do usually wait until they've finished the Liberty Mathematics Level A to do it. But it shows you how math is used in the real world. And it's an interesting, really cute storyline. Some of it is a little off the wall, but I like that because I'm a little off the wall. And if you look at the end of each chapter, there's only a few math problems. See? 1 to 4. And my kids actually enjoy doing this. And I don't know how many times I've seen my kids just sitting there wanting to do this on their own. So this is great. And I actually have kids using this all the way up through, right now, middle school. My daughter, who is taking algebra this year, she was using the Life of Fred algebra, but she has recently switched to another one. We'll get to that in another video, though. Now, those are the only actual, quote, textbooks that we use. They're more like workbooks, but they're the only ones that we use like that. I do not use social studies textbooks or science or health or any of that. I truly believe that that type of learning can be easily integrated into everyday life. What we do use every now and then is 5 in a Row. And it's a literature-based program where you take a book and you read the same book each day. In our case, we were doing it every other day because we actually group our kids. That will also be explained in another video. But just so you know, we were doing this every other day. So we would read the book, and then we would usually do 2 activities that had to do with the book. So we read the story about Ping. So the kids had to paint something using the theme color that was in the story about Ping. And then they also drew a picture with ducks. And then we did some duck templates and lined them up, and they got to count them by 2s. And so that's what you're basically doing. You're basically using this to supplement all of your subject areas. It covers language arts, math, social studies, science, art. So this is great. I only use this off and on though because I'm at the point where I really think that kids who are as young as she is and my other littles, they really need time to play. That's how kids at that age learn. They learn through playing. They also learn through being outside. And there are so many things that they can learn even by watching. My kids love to watch nature shows on TV. They learn through that. So I really, really think that it's important to only focus on the 3 R's at this age. Maybe get in a little bit of supplemental learning here and there, but you really don't need to worry about doing full curriculums. And actually, as a relaxed homeschooler, I integrate a lot of that into all of the ages, but I really, really believe that it's crucial that little kids have time to play. Now I was telling you earlier how my 3-year-old likes to do stuff too. And in my notebooking video, I did show you her little notebook for her letters. And I just wanted to let you know that she hasn't done much in it because I don't make her do it every day. But I do get these little letter papers from homeschoolshare.com. And I'm going to leave the link for this at the bottom because these are great. They're just little letter pages that she can put in her notebook, and she does them whenever she wants to. She usually does do them every day though, just because she's like that. And a lot of times I'll say to her, okay, you're done. And she'll say, no, I want to do a lot today. So yeah, that's why I do a homeschool curriculum with her. She's very persistent about being involved with us. So I let her be involved. My 3-year-old does it too. They also do animal notebooks. And I also talked about this in my notebooking video that I made last week. And what they basically do is they just pick a certain animal that they like, and I read through it with them, and they decide what it is they want a notebook on that day, and they do it. And my son isn't writing really well yet, but he did dinosaurs here, and he just was comparing the size of a dinosaur and a shark. He was writing about different types of dinosaurs. And just recently we started mapping out where dinosaurs are found. So there you go. You've got science and geography and some history thrown right into this little notebook. So you really don't need to have your little ones sitting and doing book after book after book for 4 or 6 hours a day. It's just not necessary. So, do you have anything you want to add? Do you like doing your books? Which one's your favorite?
My math.
Your math? Yeah. She and my 7-year-old, they both pick their math books first. I always ask them, what do you want to do first? And they always pick their math books first. And tell them, what do we usually use to help you add? What do I pull out for you sometimes and stick on the table for you to count with?
Shopkins.
Shopkins. Yeah, we use Shopkins as our math manipulatives. That's our favorite math manipulative. So, next week's FYI Friday, I'm going to talk to you about what curriculum I use with my 9, 11, and 12-year-old. I hope to see you then.